This next talk, the title is No BS Q&A, which means I guess that we're going to get a BS Q&A. Is that true, Travis? Okay, we might. In any case, give it up for Travis Barrett for what could be a BS Q&A.
Yeah, so typically I give this talk to middle schoolers around Veterans Day and whatnot. This particular presentation was for the cohort that I graduated at Tech Elevator in 2019. But if I had known my next 3 levels of managers were going to be here, I totally would not have signed up. And I would have definitely updated the slides. Veterans are coming into the tech workplace mainly through lots of benefits like the GI Bill. You can use the post 9/11 GI Bill to cover your living expenses while the VA picks up the cost of the boot camp. And as long as you can get hired, you're set. And so it's based on cost of living for where you're at. So like in Columbus, they gave me like $2,000 a month to cover living expenses, which helps a lot and makes boot camps a lot more accessible for the kinds of people who tend to need to go to boot camps. We are a tiny demographic. Most of you probably have veterans in your workplace, but they're probably officers, which is a breed of veteran I'm not very familiar with. I'm an enlisted person myself. There's not very many of us. Of the 251 billion in the world, there are 18.2 million adults of the United States. There's only 331 million adults in the US right now. We have 5 branches. They go from bigger to smaller. The Coast Guard looks small and tiny, but they do a lot of the hardest lifting. And if you're talking about a team of people who actually get the work done, I would prefer to have them more than mostly a Navy SEAL even. Veterans can bring a lot of assets to your team. Now, I don't want to say everybody is the same because even mindless organic drones tend to be individuals. But they have a lot of teamwork practice because you don't have a lot of option. They say, you're going to do this because we don't care what you do, you're going to do it. So we get to practice a lot of oral communication, working together and working out our differences. It's a continuous learning environment where they say, like, here's the Barney style. We break it down, numbers 1, 2, 3, you do this, you do this, you do this. And you figure it out, and you grow together, and you iterate quickly. So that was something that was very familiar to me when it came to coding. And you're going to find that a peer who's like somewhere between 18 and 24 years old is going to have a lot more opportunity to practice immediate leadership experience in getting the job done than you're going to be used to from a college grad or even a 30-year-old who's been in the workplace for 10 years, because there's not a lot of opportunity to take charge in a coding environment, right? But there's also a lot of challenges, and a lot of these I have experienced already in my 3 years in tech. We have a great difficulty translating our military experience to a corporate environment. Mostly because when I got out, like, I could not flip through the newspaper and be like, ooh, do you have any listings for mortarmen? Like, Amazon's not looking for that. We have a lot of cultural insensitivities because we talk very frankly with each other, and we are a melting pot, an amalgamation of lots of different people from all around the country, and we don't take a lot of time to be sensitive to each other. It's only recently even like Don't Ask, Don't Tell was lifted, and that was like a big cultural deal that actually went very smoothly. Nobody was really surprised, honestly, but there are a lot of challenges still, and it takes sometimes some very direct and dedicated communication from our leadership to say, Travis, you were kind of rude with your coworker, and you should not be rude with your coworkers. We have a interesting relationship with ourself and our identity. Coming out of an environment like the military can be challenging, where everything was high stakes and everything mattered, and it was life and death. It wasn't just like a talking point in the locker room before you go out and play the sport. Like, it was actually the thing. And that can make it difficult to now settle into the rest of my life knowing that I'm pretty much just trying to take home a paycheck and make sure my kids have a good life. And that it's challenging in the day-to-day to be motivated to pursue excellence in simple things. And the reality is the civilian world has a lot different standards than what we can be used to. And a lot of them look the opposite. So like civilians, like in college, you have a pride in individuality. You have to take care of yourself. You purchase all like things for yourself that you need to get things done. There's a fragmented social structure with cliques. You can always find people that you are similar to or that you like and stay with them. And your personal morals and ethics are yours alone, and that's completely okay. But in the military, you don't have a choice. You have what you're told, and that's what you do. Unit cohesion is prided over everything else, like standing in formation. If somebody is just walking to the chow hall and they come in between you and somebody else and you're in formation, that's a fight. Like, people go to the hospital for that, and that's not something that you find in the normal world. We're giving everything that we need. So like, I don't choose to spend money in the military on anything but alcohol. So everything else that I need to survive, subsist, and complete the mission is provided to me. And everybody's expected to have the same morals and values because that's what it takes to, be a patriot or whatever. In my particular tech elevator class, there was 2 Java classes and a C# class, or .NET, and there was probably about 90 people, give or take, and these were all the veterans that were part of that. And so these were all enlisted people, and just to say, you're going to find a lot more of us working with you, and we can be challenging, we can be gruff, we can be extremely entitled. That's difficult. I intended this to be a Q&A before I realized exactly the format that it was. So if you have questions, come find me. I am no bullshit, very honest. I will tell you exactly what I think, and probably very differently than anybody else thinks. So it may or may not be valuable to you. But please find me. Ask me all your most insensitive questions. I will be completely honest with you. Thanks.